So picture this. It's 20 degrees below zero. It's January in Michigan. And I am 9 days past my due date with my first baby. So every time I get up out of the bed, this is what I do. I set my feet out and I try to get up really hard to make my water break. It didn't work. But thankfully, finally, 10 days late, I go into labor with our first daughter. And it was a long, grueling process. She did not want to come out. She was very comfy in there. She was chilling. And so we finally get through it, and she's delivered, and she's not crying. And everyone waits for that big gasp and that cry, and she's not crying. And Darryll is getting ready to snap on the nurse, and he's like, "You about to do something? What's going on?" And so finally, Ava lets out this big, beautiful cry that we were all waiting for. And so then they could lay her on my chest. And I looked at her, and she literally took my breath away. She was so beautiful. She grabbed my finger, like, "Mommy, I will never let you go." And so when I think about what is awe and wonder, that was the first memory that came back to me so vividly. Getting to look at her for the first time and have that moment. Because little did she know, she had been holding me together for 9 long months. Darryll and I were not together. We were not married yet. And we were very on and off. It was a struggle for a while. But I had my baby, and she was with me everywhere I went. So it was me and Ava praying in the car on the way to work. It was me and Ava singing. It was me and Ava cooking. We was walking and eventually waddling around. It was me and Ava. And so when she was finally there, I realized I had all this fear and anxiety coming into the delivery room because now the rubber met the road. We had to decide, were we going to be a family, or was I going to have to watch my baby girl, my first baby girl, who was so perfect in every way, and there was no possible way that she could survive any hour without me. It just was impossible. She needed me at all times to continue to breathe. How in the world could I split custody and watch her drive away every other night? There was no way. I wasn't going to survive it. So what do you do when everything you want is just out of reach? Everything that you've been hoping for, everything that you've been visioning, praying, thinking on. It's like window shopping, right? You're walking along the street and you see something that catches your eye, and it's amazing, it's beautiful, and it's gorgeous. And you go to reach out and touch it, but it's like the glass is so clear, it stops you. That was what life felt like in that season. So it was a long season, but life went by, and when Ava was 11 months old, we got married, and the in the delivery room turned into awe when she tried to take her first step and fell on her big chubby little diaper butt. Turned into, "Oh, snap, girl, I see you," with her little flair that she's found these days. She's 10 going on 25, and she loves Canva. She's a graphic designer. She's a businesswoman ready to start a lemonade and run me all over the county for all her friends and extracurriculars. So we have this beautiful family, but it did not always feel like that was going to happen. And so, again, what do you do when it feels like everything that you have all of this faith for is right there, but you don't know how to grab it? How do you keep your sense of awe and wonder when life feels like it's sending you to the waiting room over and over and over again? So I just want to share 3 really quick things that helped me through that season. First, I forged this really confident expectation. I would text Darryll, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's hang out with the baby. What's going on? What are you doing tonight? Hey, I'm coming over. Let's do stuff with Ava," right? It was like I was becoming a family in my mind, And he just, he was a little nervous about getting together and commitment issues and all those things that we just won't really expound on. But it was done in my mind. So I'm like, what are we doing today? What's up? I'm out of work. Let's go. But I forged this really confident expectation. And there were days when it was really hard and we didn't see eye to eye on Ava or being a family. And so even in the midst of it, I would say to you, when you take those steps and you take aligned action in alignment with what you know to be true, and things feel like they maybe aren't always going the right way, continue to keep your heart open. Keep your heart open when you step out and it works, and when you step out and when it doesn't work, because holding on to that confident expectation will carry you into the next day. Sometimes it was hour by hour. God, this is so painful. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? I cannot do this much longer. But I would make it through those 60 minutes, and then I would make it through the next 60 minutes, and 60 minutes turned into a day, and that turned into a month. So I would encourage you, forge a confident expectation. The next thing that I had is honest voices that kept me grounded. So I had some really incredible people in my life. They were like, you guys look amazing together. Like, we were actually, Darryll and I were, I was a bridesmaid and he was a groomsman in our friend's wedding. And we walked down the aisle together, but as groomsman and bridesmaid. And so we're in the wedding party afterwards. People were like, oh, y'all are next. And I'm looking at him like, I hope you're listening. And we were next, in fact, thank God, but that day I didn't know. But I had some really incredible friends that kept me encouraged. Like, regardless of what happens, you're good, we got you. Ava's good, we got y'all. And if I would swing way too far the other way, like, forget him, this is ridiculous, I heard God wrong, there's no way, they would keep me just as grounded. You're good, we got you, you're gonna be okay. So I would encourage you, before the crisis strikes, to find honest voices that can help keep you grounded. Because when you're in a moment of chaos and crisis, it's really hard to reach out to people because you don't really know, like, hey, is this a true friendship that we're forming? I'm just like, my life is swirling right now. So today, in a moment of peace, in a moment of inspiration, when you hear something today and you think of someone that you want to continue the relationship with and maybe be more vulnerable with over coffee or lunch, do that, because those people in your life will become that grounding place for you. If you have anybody in your life who lets you swing way too far to the left, way too far to the right, let them know, hey, if I get too far, help me out, bring me back. And the third thing was, like I said, take action in alignment with what you really know to be true. I write about this and I talk about this a lot. There's a difference between knowing and then big K knowing, like that deep inner knowing. Like, I know that I know that I know. And when you continue to take steps forward in alignment with what you know to be true, whether it happens today or not, you will eventually end up exactly where you're meant to be. And what I can promise you is that it is far greater, it is far beyond what you could have ever thought or imagined, because you just continue to walk with those people beside you, and you're open and your heart is ready to receive. And that, to me, is awe and wonder. Is waking up to a life that, God, this is more than I prayed for. This is more than I could have expected. I am in awe of the beauty of what we get to do every day. This is work for us. Like, y'all are, like, we've been working on this. This is awesome. And it is far beyond what I could have ever thought. And so staying open to whatever may be next, keeping that sense of awe and wonder and trusting, you do know. You do know. It's deep in there. Maybe it's covered up by some old stuff. Maybe you're a little unsure of it. Maybe it's scary. But I know that you know the next step to take. So follow it. Trust it. Thank you.